What is up, my homies? Hey, it's been a while since I've been on here. For those of y'all who don't know me, I am Dr. Sketch. Dr. Sketch, the one and only, the true Dr. Sketch. Um, yeah, I just, it's been a while since I've been on here. So I thought I'd get back on here and get things rolling again. Welcome to my studio. This is my studio. It's not much, but I'm an artist. So this is what we do. We just kind of deal with what we got. Everything's going to get a mess anyway, so I figured, hey, perfect place would be in my basement to have a studio. Because, we're slinging paint, we're slinging charcoal and various things. I work with a ton of different mediums. Illustrations, for those of y'all who know me, you know what I do, but for those of y'all who don't know me, I work in illustrations, both sketch, hence the name Dr. Sketch. I work in sketch, I work in digital media. I'm a sculptor, I work in clay and putty, Sculpey. Sculpey is my medium of choice. That's what I go after. Sculpey is my friend. I like Sculpey. Sculpey because one, it's like a polymer, so it's like a plastic, and I love sculpting things. I love it. Let me give you an example. I'm gonna give you an example of kind of what I do. If I can do this without breaking things. I have this, this used to be actually it used to be a Flash figure, from I believe it was McFarlane Toys, which used to be Todd Toys, way back in the day. Excuse me. So McFarlane Toys came out with this, Justice League Flash figure, and I wished I could have showed it to y'all, but I don't even have the box here anymore. Actually, I have a card. I have a card because all of these figures, all these, my office is such a mess right now. All these figures that McFarlane Toys produced, they come with this card on the back, which I like to keep. A lot of people just kind of toss it. And then they come with a trading card. Well, here is the card from the back. And this is the reason why I keep these things, is because they're glossy. I like the gloss look of these back cards. This is just the card from the back of the box. I just cut this out with a skill knife. That's all I do. So anyway, here's the figure, the Flash. That's what it looked like that I'm about ready to show you. Now, not everybody likes my style, the way I do things, the medium that I choose to use. A lot of people use like testers, paints, to color their figures. A lot of people aren't big fans of Sculpey. They like to use poly resin. I'm not a big fan of poly resin simply because for me it's just difficult to work with. Polymer Super Sculpey is what I use. The beige Super Sculpey. Let me see if I got a piece of it left. I use so much of it that I run out real quick. And so I got to make several trips to Hobby Lobby, which is where I get my stuff because it is a Christian-owned company, and I like to support my brothers and sisters in Christ. But see, this is Super Sculpey. This is the medium that I use. Is a Super Sculpey, and it comes like this, and it's like got these ridges, and you can just take and break chunks of it off. And I use a pasta roller to kind of smooth it out and make like capes and masks and stuff with it for the figures. But you can roll it around like this. And I mean, it's just really easy to work with. This is Super Sculpey. Now, there is different forms like Sculpey Firm. Sculpey Firm is exactly what it sounds like. It's Sculpey Firm. It's firm. And it's like this stuff, but it's like usually gray. And it's like you got to hold it in your hand for a long time because the stuff won't soften. And it takes a while for it to soften. This stuff, it's not too soft. It's not like the original Sculpey. I got some of that here too. The original Sculpey, which is usually white, and this is the original Sculpey. It comes in a package that says original Sculpey on it. And I mean, this stuff, you can see it just smushes. It just smushes. And it's actually really messy stuff. And it's not the best stuff. It really isn't. I made I used to make Angry Birds out of this. I won't get too long and lengthy into this video because this is not what I wanted it to be. But, you know, I figured I'd reintroduce myself to the crowd. Introduce myself for the first time to some of you guys and gals. So anyway, this is Sculpey. This is original Sculpey, and it's just a messy blob. But I mean, it's good for some things, especially small things. If you're going to use it for like small jobs, then it's perfect for that. But as you can see, the difference in the consistency of this stuff is just real easy to smush and mess up your hands. And it's almost like clay itself. It's almost like, you know, you go out and you find some red clay from earth and clay. And you know how messy it gets and it makes your hands all nasty like mud. Well, it's not quite that, but I mean, you can see, you know, I got some residue on my hands from this stuff. This stuff, Super Sculpey is more firm. You know, you can see how it's more firm, and you can soften it up with your hand, but it's not too hard. You know, so it's actually a perfect form, medium to work with when working with like action figures. Now, I'm going to get back to, speaking of action, I had a squirrel moment. Squirrel! But I'm going to get back to introducing what I was going to introduce. As you've seen, that Flash, this was the Flash that I have. That's the McFarlane Toys Justice League Flash. Well, I took it and I made it. I really wanted a Mr. Miracle. They don't make a Mr. Miracle the way that I like Mr. Miracle. I like Mr. Miracle, and this is silly, but this is why I did Mr. Miracle. I did Mr. Miracle because McFarlane Toys has this heavy metal Wonder Woman, and here she is in all her glory. And I love this figure. I love it. It's just a beautifully done figure. But to me, it did not look like Wonder Woman. This looked like Big Barda to me. You know, and so I was like, wow, this is a really cool version of Big Barda, but I know it's Wonder Woman, but I'm going to say it's Big Barda. Now, granted, there's a WW right here for Wonder Woman. I'm not going to remove that, simply because this figure is so beautiful. It's so well done. I just dropped the base on the floor. It's so well done. I mean, it's so, look at the features on this thing. Look at this. It's just so well done. It's just a beautiful figure. And so I had to buy this thing, you know, because he does such a good job on his figures, Todd McFarlane does. But anyway, getting back to the Flash, so I have this Wonder Woman Big Barda here. And I wanted a Mr. Miracle to go along with her. So I bought the Flash. And here's my version of Mr. Miracle. This is what I did with the Flash. Now, I'm not 100% satisfied with the paint job that I did, but at the same time, I think he looks pretty badass. I mean, not my best work, but definitely one of my favorites as far as, you know, the work that was done. I mean, this was kind of a hard figure to make from the Flash, but the Flash has this really cool feature here, the scales. And I like that, and I know this isn't an original Mr. Miracle, but I was like, man, I could just take that, and I can make that into Mr. Miracle, and they look really good together. You've got your Big Barda Wonder Woman and your Mr. Miracle, and they just look really good together. See, and this is what I'm talking about. This is the kind of stuff I like to do. So I'm going to introduce you to something new today. Hold on, give me a second. Put these bad boys back on the shelf. Bad boys and bad girls. So, I made this hat too, by the way. You can see I made this out of Super Sculpey. This I actually got from a dress from Goodwill. And I cut this off a dress. It was like, or not Goodwill, it was actually the Disabled American Veterans, the DAV. I got this from Red Racks. And I cut this off. I just thought it was really cool looking, so I put it on this hat, and I picked up this hat. at Walmart, believe it or not. This was one of those felt play hats, and from like Halloween time. And I took it and I bought this and I put my grandma's buttons on it. My grandma had these buttons in a jar, and I just took and I put those on there. So I just thought that was really cool to do that. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on this hat. So I made that. I made this hat. So it's just one of many things that Dr. Sketch Studios does. I've just got so much creativity in my mind. Today, I went to Dollar Tree. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the Dollar Tree, but they sell items for, what is it? $1. Can you believe it? They sell items for $1. Now, not everything is the best quality at Dollar Tree, obviously. You're going to get some stuff that's kind of shoddy. But, you know, for the most part, when you get things from Dollar Tree, it's worth the $1 that you pay for the items. Well, today I picked up some interesting little figures from Dollar Tree that I thought, you know, I could customize. So I picked up, I'm a big fan of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I don't know if y'all are, but I picked up these Masters of the Universe mini figurines. And it kind of reminded me of like Warhammer or the click. What do you call those things? Those little DC superhero click things that have the little numbers on the bases. Anyway, it reminded me of those. So I bought these. And this is Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms. And this is what the packages look like at Dollar Tree. And this is just a non-movable, non-articulated figure. It's just a minifig. That's all it is. But you can see this is really cool. I'm going to open this guy up. So you can see that it's like, I mean, it's not too cheap of a toy. You know, this is made by the Mattel Corporation. This is an actual Masters of the Universe Mattel product that they just, you know, sold for $1. And they sell these for $1 at Dollar Tree. And you can see they just 3 and up, and that's because, well, you could probably take the figure off the base or something if you're 3 years old, and it's small. You could probably put it in the mouth, and the kid would choke. But anyway, so this is the Micro Collection. That's what it says. Mattel Micro Collection. Man-at-Arms, Masters of the Universe. This is just one of them. So let's unbox this bad boy. So we're going to unbox this. And again, I got this from the Dollar Tree. So, throw away the card back. And this just comes right out here, I think. Yeah, there we go. Package, throw that away. Okay, so let me get this in here so you guys can see it. Here's Man-at-Arms. Man-at-Arms, and you can see the paint job's okay. It's not the best. And it's kind of a, you know, I mean, it is what it is for $1. You know, you've got pretty good molding on these figures for $1. I mean, come on. I mean, you gotta see, look at this. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good plastic molding for $1. I mean, I would say, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it because I don't want them to raise the prices. But this is pretty good. This is pretty good. And look at this base. I think this is my favorite part right here. You've got the Masters of the Universe logo pressed onto this plastic base. And, you know, the plastic base, it's actually a pretty good little plastic base. You can see that it's actually pretty thick plastic. It's got the, you know, the year it was made, which is 2020 Mattel. It's got the number for the figure right there. Excuse me. And, of course, made in Vietnam. That's where it was made at, in Vietnam. So anyway, not an American-made product, unfortunately, but it's made in Vietnam. But it's pretty high-quality plastic. That's hitting on my ring there. Pretty high-quality plastic. You know, if I was to bite this thing, I probably would have to press pretty hard to get teeth marks in this plastic. Now, granted, once you use the heat gun, which is what I use to soften my plastics. This is a heat gun. I picked it up from Harbor Freight for, I believe it was $15. You can use a 20% off discount coupon. Sometimes if they give you coupons in the mail or whatever, this is Chicago Electric. It's Chicago. Chicago Electric. For those of you who live in Chicago, I'm seriously apologetic for that stupid accent that I just did. But this is a Chicago Electric. I'm from Kansas City. But anyway, so we're practically neighbors, you know. This is Chicago Electric. So this thing is awesome. This thing is awesome. I've had this thing for like, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. And it's great. And it has these different settings on here, and it goes up different temps. I don't like to get it any hotter than like 650 degrees right there. 650 degrees. And it goes high or low. And then once you shut it down, it starts to cool. And it's kind of noisy, but it does the trick. And so I use this to do my plastics. Also for my Super Sculpey, it's perfect for that if you don't want to put it in the oven or you're going to spot. Let me try to find the right word for it. You're going to spot mold something. You know, like you take your Sculpey here and you're going to like spot like that, for example. See that? I put the Sculpey there on the back of Man-at-Arms. So if you're going to spot sculpt things, it's perfect for that, because then you can just turn it on and you can hit that spot. You want to make sure that your fingers aren't, you know, close to this thing, because this thing gets super, super hot. Obviously, it's a heat gun. Heat gun. Use caution, people. This is a heat gun. It does get hot. Obviously. I shouldn't have to say that, but you never know. They put those little silicone packages in bottles of beef, or in like packages of beef jerky, and they say, don't eat this. There's a reason why they say don't eat that. It's because someone did. So, yeah, this is hot. Don't touch the heat gun. It's hot. Don't touch the tip, the metal part, because it's hot. You'll burn the crap out of yourself. So you don't want to do that. So when you're doing spot sculpt, you want to make sure that you're not getting your fingers, and you just kind of do this. I also have this metal plate here that I use, or it's a turntable. That's what this is. Like a for cakes, you know. You put a cake on here and you turn it, for like those of you who make cakes. So anyway, this is what I use a lot of times, and I'll put the figures on here, and then I'll do the sculpt. And then I'll just, you know, do this and then turn them as they're going. And that way it gets hot enough that it hardens the clay. So anyway, I got this Man-at-Arms here. And I really wanted to get these and like make them better, because I mean they're really cool looking figures, as you can tell. Really cool looking figurines, but I wanted to make them better. So what I did was I did exactly that. And I took, like the Super Sculpey, I took pieces of the Super Sculpey and I molded different parts onto these little figures, onto Man-at-Arms. I haven't done any of the others yet. There's a He-Man. There's a He-Man. And this is what he looks like out of the package. This is the He-Man that they have at the Dollar Tree. Same thing, same kind of figures, same kind of base and everything. I liked it because look at that sword. That's really cool. So anyway, that's the He-Man. And then there is a Merman, which is one of my all-time favorite villains from Masters of the Universe, simply because I like ocean stuff. And it's funny because I live in Kansas City. There's not even an ocean close to Kansas City. But I love ocean stuff. So here's Merman. Here's Merman in all his glory. And there he is. There's Merman. And here's Merman out of the box. So you've got... So you got your Merman. It's the same kind of base. That's for $1. You know, $1. $1. A bark. So anyway, that's Merman. And then I didn't buy any more Orcos, because there's not really too much you can do with Orco. Orco, he was just cool as he was. You know, so I was like, I'm not going to touch Orco. I'm not going to do anything to Orco, because this is a really cool figure. So here's Orco. And I bought this one. And for $1. I mean, these are $1. Look how cool Orco is. Look at this. It's just a really cool sculpt. They did a super job with this. Look at that. So, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the red stamp, but what else could you do with this? I mean, you can't, I guess you could probably make it clear. I don't know. But that is just really cool. Orco's always been one of my favorites. So, I just thought this was really cool. So, there's Orco. And so what I did with Man-at-Arms, remember this guy? What I did with him was I added some paint to him after doing the sculpt. I did some sculpting on him, and then I added some paint to him, and he just looks really awesome. And I'm going to show him to you guys. So here is the Man-at-Arms, the original, right here. And then here is my version of Man-at-Arms. And that's my version right there. So you can see what I did here. You can see I added some color to the belt. I added some sculpt to the helmet. I added some sculpt to the right leg. Well, the right from here. It's actually the left leg, I believe. Added some sculpt to the left leg. And I added paint. I painted just various things. You know, you can see here, he's kind of an orangish, and this one's he's gold. But you can see just the variation. And I think I did a pretty dang good job. I mean, he looks pretty kick butt. He still needs a little bit of work. I forgot to hit that area right there with gold, and I forgot to hit these little buckles with gold. But he still looks pretty kick-ass. I mean, look at that. So, that's my Man-at-Arms. That's what I did with him. So, I've got an original here, and then I've got my version, my sculpt. So, if you guys like doing sculpts, I mean, you can see it's kind of messy. But I mean, he still looks really awesome. I'm really proud of this thing. I'm really happy with the result. So, I'm going to do a few more of these, and I'll get back on here, and I'll show you guys how He-Man, Merman, and I'm possibly going to do maybe a Faker, which is the alternative version of He-Man, and I might turn Merman into Beastman. I don't know yet. I also bought another He-Man that I thought maybe I could make him into Skeletor, because they didn't have Skeletor. I mean, isn't that odd that they didn't have a Skeletor? I mean, Skeletor is like your main villain, right? And they had Merman instead. I mean, as much as I like Merman, I think it's just odd that they didn't have Beastman or Skeletor. Those are your two biggest villains. Is your Skeletor and your Beastman. But anyway, they didn't have it. And they didn't have Teela. I was a little disappointed that they didn't have Teela. But for $1, what can you go? I mean, you can't go wrong. This is $1, dude. It's $1. So anyway, I am going to do possibly the Beastman. Possibly, I don't know, I may do a skunk. I may do a skunk man. And a Faker. You know, simply because it's He-Man. And I might do a Skeletor. So, and I'm going to customize my other He-Man too, and customize the other Merman, because the Merman needs some work, and so does the He-Man. And then I'll get back to you guys, but I'm not touching Orco, because Orco just looks awesome the way he is. So, if you guys like these things, you know, they're available at the Dollar Tree for $1. $1. Sorry, I just like saying buck. It's funny. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you did, hit that like button. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button so that you can get all my videos. Hit the notification bell so that you'll know when my videos are new and you get a new video. I'm not on here that often, but when I am, I want to make it worth your while. So hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And, you know, give us a comment below. Tell us, hey, Matt, you suck. Or, hey, Matt, you're awesome, man. I love your artwork. Or, you know, maybe even a little bit of criticism. You could say, hey, I'm an artist from New York or whatever. I got a tip for you. If you do this instead, you know, I'm open. I'm open, y'all. I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm open. You know, maybe you got something that I don't have. I would love to hear about it. So put some comments down below. Maybe even leave me a few links if you want to. So anyway, I'm out of here. This is Dr. Sketch. God bless y'all. Thanks for watching.